It's all Donald Trump's fault.
The biggest threat to Canada's existence since its formation over 150 years ago happened today. Canada's economy is about to go boom. Why? It's because of the fallout from Mark Carney's wonderful speech in Davos. Things have gone from bad to worse. Way worse. And what is our Prime Minister doing? He's hugging Bonhomme Carnaval. That is all that Mark Carney has done since coming back from his world tour is hug a snowman. What a contrast, because since Donald Trump came home from his trip to Davos, he's been doing nonstop press conferences and publishing on his social media accounts. And Mark Carney, he's been hiding in Quebec, probably in a cottage. Doing what? Who knows what Mark Carney is doing right now? He refuses to take questions from the media. He's gone dark. He is hiding. When Canadians are looking around with fear and they're trying to say, where is our leader right now? He's gone. He's not gone. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Instead, he is, who cares about Canada gone? Let's get into this report.
It's all Donald Trump's fault.
We're going to start off with the bomb. This was first thing this morning. If Governor Carney, that is insane. So Justin Trudeau was called governor, which resulted in Justin Trudeau resigning because his polling numbers collapsed after being called governor. So embarrassing. And now Donald Trump has officially called Mark Carney Governor Carney. If Governor Carney thinks he's going to make Canada a drop-off port for China to send goods and products into the United States, he is sorely mistaken. China will eat Canada alive, purely devour it. Yum, yum, yum. Canada is gone, including the destruction of their businesses, social fabric, and general way of life. If Canada makes a deal with China, it will immediately be hit with a 100% tariff against all Canadian goods and products coming into the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald Trump. Now, I want to show you a clip from CBC, and don't worry. I want to hear from this man, an international Canada-US lawyer.
Trump said there on Truth Social, threatening that 100% tariff on all goods coming into the USA from Canada. He also said that China will eat Canada alive, completely devour it, including the destruction of their businesses, social fabric, and general way of life. Reading the post from Truth Social this morning, what is your take on what he said? Is this a realistic threat?
Well, I don't know if the 100% tariffs are a realistic threat. I mean, that's sort of what Trump does. He makes something extreme, but he can come back from it. What I think is a more realistic threat or landing point for him is that in the CUSMA or the USMCA, there's an Article 3210, which basically says that if any country, in this case Canada, were to negotiate a free trade agreement with a non-market economy, that means China, that they have to give 3 months notice in advance to the United States, or in this case, or any other trading partner. And then if the other trading partner doesn't like the outcome, they could cancel the CUSMA with 6 months notice. And I think that's kind of Trump teeing up that, okay, Canada. Now, the term free trade agreement isn't defined in the USMCA, so I'm not sure that this would really qualify, but obviously it's kind of self-judging. But I think it's an indication that if Trump wants to play hard with Canada, he can, which is what makes a lot of what the Prime Minister did in Davos inexplicable to me. I mean, I've always said on these panels that I think there's a disconnect between the political market, which rewards a Canadian Prime Minister for saying things like this, and the economic market and the negotiating market, which I think actually doesn't. And that's the disconnect. So I don't know where it goes. And the other thing is, you want to put together a coalition of middle powers. Well, which ones are lining up to back Canada? I mean, it's all well and good for people in the back of a salon in Davos to applaud, give you standing ovations. Where are the countries saying, yep, we're going over the cliff with you, Mr. Carney? I haven't heard it.
And you're watching this on CBC. The elbows up crowd are actually watching this. I hope they all watch CBC today, because this is a jaw-dropping moment. Donald Trump just gave his 3 months notice that he's going to be ripping up the USMCA. It's not defined. So his deal that he did in China could be seen by the US as a free trade agreement with the New World Order. I cannot believe how insane this entire thing is. Donald Trump was not finished with Canada on social media. Just 2 hours later, he decided to post this. The last thing the world needs is to have China take over Canada. It's not going to happen, or even come close to happening. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald Trump. And I think this is a pretty good opportunity. You probably haven't seen this anywhere else. So in Canada, we have the elbows up and CBC all praising Mark Carney's speech. Well, his colleagues in Davos don't feel the same way about his speech as the people in Canada. His buddies are actually talking behind Mark Carney's back. They're not agreeing full tilt with Mark Carney. Let's check this out.
So I want to start, if I could, with Madame Lagarde. And this is where I want to go with this, if I could, because I think we're all trying to figure out what we just saw. I think there was a lot of whiplash throughout the week. And we heard a couple of different perspectives, one of which came from the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, who said, every day we're reminded that we live in an era of great power rivalry, that the rules-based order is fading, that the strong can do what they can and the weak must suffer what they must. Let me be direct, he said, we are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. And I think we all want to understand whether you agree with that and what it means.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and good morning to all of you. I'm not exactly on the same page as Mark, and having 25 years of business background, I think that we policymakers are at a point where we have to look at Plan B or Plans B, but even with those Plans B, which have also been articulated by Ursula von der Leyen, I'm not sure that we should be talking about rupture. I think we should be talking about alternatives. We should be identifying much more so than we have probably in the past, the weaknesses, the sore points, the dependencies, the autonomy. But obviously, I take the view that from an economic and from a business point of view, we depend on each other. We have these very strong links and bind. Suppliers sometimes are in a position.
All right, that's all I want. I want you to see that they're not agreeing with Mark Carney in his rupture. Why are they not agreeing? Because Mark Carney is using the fear of Donald Trump and the fear of everything in order to get maximum fear into the elbows up voters, because I believe he's going to want to call a snap election before the end of the USMCA, because if the USMCA is ripped up into smithereens, you cannot get reelected with that kind of failure in your track record. And there you have it, right on cue. CTV came out today and said the Liberals are holding a lead in the national polling. And check out what they had to say.
I think there's probably a good chance that the Liberals might want an election this year. The thing is that the trade talks are not going very well. And when we do have a trade agreement, whenever that might be, it's probably not going to be as good as our current arrangement. And defending a trade agreement that's not as good would be difficult for any government. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Liberals want to get ahead of that and also get ahead of the midterm elections in the United States in order to try to build a stronger mandate in the House of Commons.
What do you think out there? Do you think we're going to have an election? Is it going to be spring, summer, fall? I feel it's coming sooner than later. So I wrote online today, will Governor Carney call a snap election to win a majority now that fear is at level 1,000? What I'm hearing from some of the separatists of what's happening is they believe that potentially Mark Carney wants Alberta to separate, because if Alberta separated, Canada will never, ever have a conservative-led government ever again. It will be liberal forever, and Mark Carney could rule over Canada until he's ruling over the ashes. That's not really fair for all of us that don't live in Alberta, is it? That's why if Alberta does decide to separate, I have to start thinking about moving to Alberta. And see, Donald Trump, he probably also wants Alberta as well. If Alberta breaks ties with Canada, there's no more of this net zero nonsense. They could actually develop their natural resources full tilt. And guess where all of that natural resources is gonna go? South. Because they're landlocked. Or they could go down to Washington and go out to the coast. But Alberta's gonna have options. I also wrote today that 100% tariff on Canada isn't a trade dispute. It's an economic kill shot. Canada sends over $420 billion in exports to the United States. 70 to 75% of all our exports go down to the US. That's 20 to 25% of our GDP. Hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of jobs, probably over 1 million jobs. A move like this wouldn't cause a recession. It would trigger an economic collapse. This is what Carney is gambling with China. And I also wrote this. If Mark Carney chooses China over the United States, Alberta separation stops being theoretical. It becomes a done deal. I did a poll today. 1,300 people voted. If Alberta votes independence, are you moving to Alberta? 86% said yes. I did a follow-up and I said, if you voted yes, are you moving before the vote or after the vote's confirmed? And 72% say after the vote is confirmed. I have no idea how this is going to work out. If they vote to exit, are you going to have to apply for Alberta citizenship? Yeah, as things materialize, I'm going to be giving you guys as much information as possible, because if you're looking to go to Alberta, if they decide independence, I want you to know how to do it, because I'm going to also be looking at these options for myself and my family. I have Mark Carney just 8 months ago say that he's going to put us in a strong position and Canada's going to get even stronger over time. We're going to wait it out and get that win with Donald Trump. Good thing we got something called the internet and I saved the receipts.
Put us in a strong position. See, this is a fundamental mistake that the Americans are making. They think they will weaken us. They think that they can own us, quite frankly. That's what they think. We are going to get stronger. We are going to wait this out. They're going to come to the table, and we're going to negotiate a good deal for the Canadians. Thank you. We're going to talk on our terms as a sovereign country, not as what he pretends we are, and on a comprehensive deal.
Oh man, that did not age well, did it? Now we're going to take a look at what Mark Carney's been doing since he's been back from his world tour. Is he advising Canadians and keeping us nice and calm and reassuring us? Let's go. As our relationship with the US is imploding in real time, Mark Carney's playing around with a snowman.
Merci pour le leadership. Joyeux carnaval.
You can't make any of this stuff up, Canada. This is not my prime minister. It's not, I'm sure it's not yours as well. Like, this is very strange. It's just very creepy and very strange. This is for real. This is not AI. This is an actual picture. And this is why RPN's video is just perfect. Even the snowman. Even the snowman.
It's all Donald Trump's fault.
Mark Carney did something else today. After Donald Trump posted 2 of his posts, Mark Carney responded with his own post. The Liberal government saw Donald Trump's social media post and decided to publish this video. They're now blatantly instigating Donald Trump, publishing a propaganda video signing economic deals with China, Qatar, and the WEF. And can you believe it? They actually started with China on their video. We're not going to be able to use the sound, but look, check out Mark Carney. This is this is insane. This is what he published after Donald Trump said no deal with China. He's publishing this propaganda video saying, "Oh yeah, we did a deal with China. Come and get me, Donald Trump. Come and get me." Signing a deal. Did you see him sign that deal? And the World Economic with Emmanuel Macron with his sunglasses. And look, here's Canada's post. Here you go, Donald Trump. How do you like them apples? And I wasn't joking. It says from the Prime Minister of Canada's office. It got 155,000 views. People are looking at this video and going, are you for real? Donald Trump just threatened 100% tariff and you're going to send a propaganda video of you signing deals with China? While the sky was falling down on Canada, Dominic LeBon's like, oh crap, this is Justin Trudeau's babysitter coming out going, wow, I'm going to have to make a statement because things are starting to explode. Statement from Honorable Dominic LeBron, President of the King's Privy Council for Canada and the Minister responsible for Canada-US trade, Intergovernmental Affairs, International Trade, and One Canadian Economy. That's his title. But check out what he says. As the Prime Minister said this week, Canada and the United States have built a remarkable partnership in our economy and security, and it will remain focused on ensuring the future of that relationship will benefit workers and businesses on both sides of the border. This is just damage control in that statement, but check out this statement. There is no pursuit of a free trade deal with China. It was achieved with resolution on several important tariff issues. Canada's new government, which is the same as the old government, is building a stronger Canadian economy with a plan that is building our strength at home and strengthening our trading partnership throughout the world. This is what you call damage control, but I showed you the clip at the very beginning. He's already provided his 3 months notice that he's going to be ripping up the USMCA. This is a nothing burger. You know what this is? This is Dominic LeBlanc coming out saying, it was all fake. China thing was completely fake. And you know the New World Order thing? That was also fake. It was just a performative act for China. We don't have any deal. You know, Donald Trump did brag that he cost Pierre Poilievre the federal election. Yeah, I remember that. It was on front page of all newspapers. And I'm starting to wonder why. It's because he knew if he got Mark Carney elected, he would be able to train wreck him and the Liberals. It's just so easy. It's so pathetic. Because who remembers this?
Is it liberal? Maybe. But, you know, a conservative until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with the liberal than the conservative, if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage, actually. But the conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau. The conservative was leading by 35 points. So, you know.
Now it's Governor Carney. Do you see how Mark Carney's Justin Trudeau 2.0? They're from the same batch. Eventually today, Mark Carney finally came out with a video for us so that us plebs could just relax. He's got a plan.
With our economy under threat from abroad, Canadians have made a choice to focus on what we can control. You are choosing to put your hard-earned dollars behind Canadian businesses and Canadian workers. Canada's new government is doing the same with our new Buy Canadian policy. We're on a mission to build big, from millions of homes that will improve affordability, to major projects that will transform our economy, to the new military hardware that will protect Canadians and our sovereignty. We will build big with Canadian materials, Canadian steel, aluminum, and lumber, with Canadian technology and with Canadian workers. We can't control what other nations do. We can be our own best customer. We'll buy Canadian, we'll build Canadian. And together, we will build Canada strong.
Oh my goodness. You can't make any of this stuff up. So right after Mark Carney made his post, I did my post. Just in, Mark Carney's response to Donald Trump. We're going to be our own very best customer. This is what infinite power looks like. And I also wrote to Canadians, Mark Carney announced Canada is relaunching the Buy Canada policy to combat Donald Trump's 100% tariff threat. That's why we're allowing 50,000 Chinese EVs into the country, buying BC ferries from China, and replacing the Queensboro Bridge in New Westminster, British Columbia, using Chinese steel. That is how we're building Canada strong. We're going to finish this episode with Mark Carney, our economic genius, lying to Canadians. Check this out. It's so wonderful because the internet brings receipts.
I'll give you again, I'll appeal since it's in the headlines to the Nordics. Nordics plus Canada, it's 20% of global GDP. Nordics plus Canada, it's 20% of global GDP. It's not the first thing people would realize. Nordics plus Canada, it's 20% of global GDP.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
That's it for today's report. The weekend's only half done. We still have a full Sunday to get through. Will Donald Trump take the day off? We're about to find out. Don't miss my report tomorrow evening. I'll see you on the next report.